Tell me a little bit about who you are.
Well, I'm Paul James-Griffiths, and I'm an evangelist, writer, researcher, teach at Bible college, and also tour guide and directing Christian Heritage Edinburgh.
And I'm Isolde. I'm his wife for 34.5 years, and we work together in all those things, but I would call myself a singing missionary, and together we work for Christian Heritage Edinburgh.
Tell me a little bit about Christian Heritage Edinburgh.
Well, we founded Christian Heritage Edinburgh in 2014, and we have a motto which says, challenging today from the past. And we look at Edinburgh and we've got an incredible Christian history that has not only just impact and transformed Scotland, but many parts of the world. Very strong connections with America as well. And we found that people were not telling the story. It had been buried so much. The witches were telling the story. They're telling a story about whiskey and all sorts of other things, but not about the incredible things that erupted from Edinburgh and transformed the world. So certain things that we do in our ministry. One is we run a Christian Heritage Centre during the summer months. We have exhibitions and videos in different languages. So we get up to almost 20,000 people coming in through the doors in the 4 months we open it. We run a walking tour called Soul of Scotland Tours, particularly Christian Heritage Tour, which is the most popular. And that's a walking tour in the old town of Edinburgh. So we've had thousands of people literally over the years who've come on these tours. And it's so exciting to take them into historical places and really bring out, as it like, sort of unblock the wells, as it were, and bring the information out to the people. And they're so challenged and inspired by what they hear. And so we do that, but also there's a third main part of our outreach is Street Cafe. And Street Cafe is basically what it says on the tin. We go out onto the street, we set up a table in key locations where there are lots of people, and what we'll do is we'll serve free hot drinks, and we have Christian literature, and we engage with anybody who happens to be there. And so by that means thousands are hearing the gospel of Christ. And we are in the process of wanting, since the pandemic, to rebuild. We've got 3 teams operating. The vision is to have 10 street cafe teams on a weekly basis in key locations of the city of Edinburgh to reach multiple people with the gospel. But what's so exciting is we're finding people are coming to us to actually be nurtured and mentored how to set up street cafe and how to run it. So for example, we've had teams from Chinese Christians coming from London, and now there are over 70 of them in teams in key locations in London bringing the gospel. So that's Chinese Christians bringing the gospel to Londoners. And there are people in America who have also done the same thing. Even there was a team in Latvia and different places. So it's really exciting. Potentially we could have people coming from all the major cities of Scotland and coming and training with us in Edinburgh, and then taking back that way of reaching people with the gospel, so that there could be a network all over Scotland of reaching multitudes of people for the gospel.
Now I can hear from your accents that neither of you are from here. So tell us, why Scotland?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm English.
And I'm German.
And so it's amazing that God brings people from other places to come to Scotland. But what we've discovered when God sent us, and that was a miraculous confirmation on the call to Scotland, is it's an amazing story that has to be told about what God did through Scotland that affected the world. For example, just one example is the link between Edinburgh and America, and things like the whole democratic processes which came through the Presbyterian Church, human rights movements, the importance of the individual, education. If you look back into your American history, you will find Presbyterians, they're key people in key positions of influence and inspiration, who are really forming so many of the things that you developed in your own country. And there was a special link with Edinburgh.
So what would you love to see God do here in Scotland?
Well, this is the land, historically, with most revivals ever. Right now, it's a very dark place. And so it's on our heart, like nothing else, for God to do this again. And we have sown our hearts out here, and we want to see more of that. We want to see Street Cafe grow to 10 and even more throughout the cities in Scotland, that there will be more Christian heritage centres in all the key places where there is Christian heritage, such as St. Andrews. And in order for us to achieve this, this is where you could come in. You could either support us regularly by praying for us. Prayer is the most important thing. Or you could consider to come for a year and being an intern. But if you come, please come prepared. This is a tough place. It's a spiritually tough place. So you have to be able to persevere through difficult circumstances. But if God calls you, He will give you the grace. And finally, please support us financially. We have got TrustBridge set up for the Americans, for them to be able to give to us tax efficiently too. Thank you so much for listening and helping us.